Different kinds of characters, different kind of emotions.
The characters, and having Forrest there.
Plant your characters out, because that was really interesting.
To create these characters and do the work beforehand, so that because the Swede gets knocked around a lot.
Design the characters around their characters, but just to kind of create the text.
Each of these characters is a little bit deeper.
Characters in Potter who were just a name.
Characters in this film, to not judge the character. And
secondary, because it's more about working her and working with her as a director.
Characters and things around it, and you definitely want to do
dimensional female characters that hopefully, you know, are putting something that's played by men over and over again, and
relatability to the characters, I think.
My ex-husband used to call me a nocturnal.
I think it really helped the characters. I think it helped
characters. It's going to be so
And I think we had the opportunity to create new characters. You know,
I think in the storyline, you know, on this journey.
good. All these characters are real heroes.
It's a bunch of characters that I think different
to care about these characters and a little bit more.
Relate to the flawed characters, and
is that I think there's been
Characters a lot better. Before we were just trying to
different characters like Woody Harrelson.
of each of these characters and all of us.
Into the characters, and I think that's what
we've seen before, just in other ways.
together, crazy characters, and
that defines us as characters.
between the two characters.
Four characters and these four people who have all
so many different types of characters and
characters into different historical adventures. That there's depth there and there's complexity. But just the idea of going on a fun swap.
There's such a transformation going on.
female characters and the women ultimately.
There are certain characters that are just
Characters, they're all very alive now. Create characters, I kind of find people.
Characters just click.
Mom asked me to help.
each character's
Incorporate nuance in characters. A decade game characters.
We have traveled far.
Her name is Hannah, and she's a young
Warming characters.
need a hug.
Or not a hug.
I loved the characters. I loved the fatal.
And unfortunately, she then passed.
My character's name is Adam, and he's called Adam. Really good characters. There's a believable
duality of those kind of characters.
to portray characters who are in anguish and in trying to
Are very mysterious, and
who are teenagers are now in their early 30s.
Turn their backs on this artificial.
All the characters in this story.
One of the characters, and obviously characters.
I've never played anything that is.
You know, it's just the characters, you have such a dynamic in the same room and they bounce.
Well-developed characters, and it's going to create.
So that's one to look out for.
Characters to go, but we talked a lot about our life experience.
about your character's journey.
Well, I'm attracted. I like to bring characters like that to light within characters like Henry and characters' diatribe about that.
Well, I mean, the characters are all
Hollywood characters for so long. How do you actually?
My character is a big money guy.
Infused into all the characters and the development of the characters and the action.
Characters' reaction. The audience are in with characters' reaction. The audience are in with
Character's daughter. Now, Michael Keaton's character
Kind of like chess pieces from place to place. It's cool, slick characters doing cool
These characters till I saw them on screen.
It's like they knew them still. Like people on the tube.
Fun to see all the characters back together again.
To the characters,
Mhm.
and sort of emerges out of the characters.
Yeah.
So Spud's like chaos.
It sits in the characters properly, that
About
looking
these
back.
characters now that it's 20 years later. Something that
Characters, Ewan, Renton, and Spud.
We had all kinds of characters like fire breathe, all kinds of characters like fire breathe perhaps more than anyone else.
These are characters that she's been living.
Characters to the screen, to their own beings.
Characters, and Charlie Day plays sort of the straight. I also love characters that are very well.
Characters. So he kind of said, look, you know.
I wanted these characters to be these sort of. I almost as characters having to become.
Which is characters.
the characters are so flawed, very human.
story
Of our characters, and Gareth came in with a very. It's very important for him that this beautiful and strong characters we thought.
A wonderful cast of characters as well as actors playing those characters.
Three-dimensional characters. He'd be unstoppable. That are just so two-dimensional.
characters slowly becoming leaders and becoming characters as they were when they first got into the well-drawn characters, the brilliant dialogue, characters have just had enough. But the whole film is, and here she lends a whole dose of compassion.
And you? I believe that the characters we read about are
And very few special effects. Live characters that they managed to capture characters in this film.
This is fine.
The attitude, the characters were very quirky, and it does deal with that idea of faith. Characters that we don't normally see, easy to empathize with the characters, and there has really been focusing on these strong female central characters. And lead characters, Ahmad and Rana, are participating in these characters. You get such an
taking her time, the character's time, but of course.
Now this is, I believe the character's name is. We have the two new big characters.
To get into Elysium, so he kind of has.
Characters
have evolved so much.
Yeah, as long as the characters know just as much as I do.
Characters for these last two.
Among the characters, the first one obviously was.
Well, the moods of the characters, really.
Adventure has wit. The characters have wit. You know, people. In a way, those characters that she just brings, great characters, great ensemble cast, and this.
I believe that the characters we read about on the page end up being the characters we read about on the page end up being. And you? I believe the characters on the page end up.
His name is Jeff. He's 30 years old.
This is a woman who lives in the
sort of characters in that same genre, you know.
Fantine is one of the characters in the Montreux.
Every one of the characters in this musical is fighting.
Characters, other actors, you know, these choices were available.
Each of the characters were like
characters, and for Ben and his shows and all, they're
good story, good characters.
And then Elle plays his daughter.
Movie characters from your shorts and stuff.
Character's justice.
Ruth just knew how important his character's awkwardness. He hasn't dealt with this scenario before.
To do these characters justice.
Story to tell. These characters are quiet people.
Shines through.
These are not characters on a page.
I'm on a tightrope!
It takes the characters to places they have.
Characters.
I'm a king.
The characters that he's playing.
These characters, I think that his execution.
Lives.
Hello, Lee. I just went to concert.
They're so richly drawn. They're such great details.
You think you know so well. Resonate with the characters and with what's happening.
3 characters.
I was looking for.
We'll find him.
My character's name is Randy Ward.
I think your lives
bring all of the Marvel characters together and make a great characters, which is what this film memorable moments and characters in this film.
From these characters, and is also really willing characters in this relationship.
Characters from the first movie and a bunch of new characters and a whole different adventure.
They had to stay stiff.
New characters are going to bring a new flavor.
Call me characters and call me ships and elements.
Characters delivering.
With characters that we all can recognize. Love these characters as much as we do.
Janet Leigh. She's not a good person. There's Janet Leigh.
All the characters, everybody kind of finds
main characters in this movie.
Characters, but we're also, you know,
relate to the characters in it.
Stories of these characters.
What we wanted to do on this
Movie
movie
for these characters that everybody
is making them grand and glorious.
Think of all these beloved characters actually knowing.
The characters are very special.
All these characters are real heroes.
characters in a traditional sense. So
Characters are quirky, the plot's intriguing.
Characters in every holiday setting. Revenge.
My character's name is Aubrey.
More than anything, and making them authentic.
Out of all the characters I've seen in play. And all those characters.
Characters mean to the audience and what the actor.
and these sort of classic characters.
Characters, it's great to have that color.
On the one hand, the principal characters are monkeys.
Characters and how fun they are and how it's like.
I said tonight, what is the character's name? Sometimes in the same shot, can it really...
characters that people were anticipating seeing.
Characters is moose.
Robert Alexander III.
Characters.
Why moose?
Characters. And Channing and I really didn't converse a lot.
Personal, yet the characters in the movie.
I mean, you've got these 3 women who's...
Laughing, watching all these characters.
And from 18 to 80, there's a sort of that feeling that...
Used to be seen. I've seen me play.
Really?
The characters you meet. Something happens.
As people, and the choices that these characters are making are very emotional.
When the characters all end up sitting on a bench.
Created 3 characters who were all
Really go out.
Certainly on other films they would.
Characters and you can't see
do with these characters who are so known and so much as this one.
Extraordinary characters.
Who each bring their own preparations.
characters, maps, stories.
This guy's crazy.
These 2 characters are so electric.
Our family of characters do everything for each other.
Characters that I love. And
In a film dominated by male characters.
These characters inhabit.
I think you're going to feel for them. I think you're going.
And all the characters, to the point that he can.
Characters, not all of them, but some of them. When they fight, they really fight. So we started
looking around at each other into the characters' faces. To stand in a circle and look at the guys.
We've established our characters, we've established our story, and it was finally time to get on
with these characters, and I keep referencing the fact that I turned 19 when I came to Hobbiton for the first time.
He plays one of the characters in it.
Characters' weapons. This is Gloin's box of
The amount of lead characters with costumes.
The camera and the characters around.
Characters, and for me, whenever you have such good characters in a story, you really care.
And you have great characters that you can really...
It got to that point where we could think about...
Find classic characters and revitalize the...
It's because the way the characters, these are characters that we've seen before.
Characters from every different universe. Some of these characters for the first time brought together, and crazy characters and
characters that have history. So you already
drawn universal characters. I think that's really what you look for in a film: 2 lead characters.
Why didn't you write
classic characters? They terrify us, and yet
and connection to all the characters that he knew.
It's pretty different. Jack is who's
originality and characters which will challenge
characters and somehow they all connect.
4 characters and these 4 people to be full, flushed out human beings.
Characters, many different, showing
You care about.
Sets of characters which eventually come
Feel through the characters he creates.
Characters that you tend to see. There's a lot of
badass roles and characters.
But I give so much credit to the animators.
And I really loved it.
That has that transformation.
characters do what they do. Once you know so well, it's just
Creating these characters, and of course...
because you know who you are. I know.
I don't know if main characters was around when we were growing up.
What do these characters do on there? Characters in the game like him, really. They're all afraid of him. And her character's this little...
Characters he meets besides Vanellope.
It was full of characters with this go for the gold spirit.
Play certain characters on screen, and then you meet
characters and more female characters, which I think
It's the most complex characters ever written. Not that
Characters in film that are women are defined by...
or its characters, or the story that is.
comic timing of characters like Cogsworth.
So we've got,
When you find the characters in the original film.
The fact that the characters had a narrative then, it's aware of them.
And make these movies, these Fast and Furious movies.